Jane.
Yeah, hi.
My name is Dr. C. How may I help you?
Well, how do I start? Goodness me. It's not about me. It's about my little boy Josh. He's 2. And 2 nights ago I had the most awful experience. It was just awful. He had this fit. He had a fit and I didn't know what to do. I called an ambulance, we'd been to hospital. They kept us in hospital for a couple of hours. They sent us home. They told me it was something to do with him. He'd not been very well for about a week. So it was something to do with him not being very well, that his temperature had gone high and it had caused him to have a fit. And then they kept an eye on him for a couple of hours, told me to give him paracetamol, said it, well, I think it was virus, and sent me off home. And they gave me a letter. I don't know if you've received it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a look. Have a look at it.
Okay, they sent me this letter and said that to come and speak to you about it. And they haven't arranged to see us again or anything, so that's where I'm up to really. I want to know what's going on and what happened, and hopefully you can explain it to me.
Okay. How is Josh now?
Oh, he's much better. He's not completely back to normal, but he's at home with my mum. I thought I'd best not bring him today because I don't want him to pick anything else up. But he's a lot better. His temperature hasn't gone up that high again. He's getting there. He's all right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Tell me a bit more about. You mentioned it started a week before.
It was about a week before. He's 2. He's normally bouncing around the room, but he'd just been a bit off colour. He'd been off his food. He'd been a bit snotty. He'd had a few temperatures. I'd given him Calpol. And then 2 nights ago, his temperature seemed to shoot up. I couldn't get it down. He just was so poorly. And then he just started having this fit, which, I'm on my own. It really panicked me. So I called an ambulance. I thought I was going to die. It was awful. And the rest is the same.
And after that, did he have any in the hospital when he was observed?
No, they by the time the ambulance came, his fits had stopped, and then he didn't have any more fits.
Okay.
So I gave him Calpol, his temperature settled, and he seemed to perk up a bit. I don't know.
Okay. And is he eating, drinking okay now?
Yeah, quite a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And just to know a little bit more about Josh, was he born at time? No problems?
No, he was overdue, and no, normal delivery.
And he's now 2 years old. Is he on any regular medication?
No, nothing.
He's not had any previous hospital admission?
Never, no.
He's not allergic to anything?
No.
And is he doing what is expected of his age, like a normal 2-year-old?
Oh, and more. Yeah, he's very active.
Very
He goes to nursery. He seems to be doing what all the other 2-year-olds do.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Right. Just give me 1 second. I'll just have a look at the letter and then I'll be able to. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay. That's fine. Did they tell you what febrile convulsions?
That's what they said. Yes.
Do you know much about it?
Well, they said it was to do with his temperature and it had caused him to have a fit. But I thought having a fit meant you've got epilepsy. So when they sent him home and they're not following up and they're not doing a scan, I thought, well, I don't think they've done a proper job, really.
Right. Okay. Do you know anyone around with epilepsy or any? Is that something
Just
you
somebody
know?
from work. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. In terms of febrile convulsions, what it means is it's simple when children get the temperature very high. It can cause some very high temperature can cause fits. It doesn't mean it is epilepsy.
So he's not got epilepsy?
No. When you have epilepsy, you've got more episodes as well.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Yeah. And the good news is...
Definitely not epilepsy.
No.
Right, okay.
Because it sounds like it, because he had an infection. This is how febrile conversions usually happen. You have some
So you've heard about this before, have you?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And what happens is, normally it's around temperature, any sort of infection, like you mentioned, Josh had a bit of cough, cold, fever, and that's happens with children only, and that's how they get it.
I've not heard of it before.
Yeah,
Right.
it's common.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, so
convulsions
you've
in
seen
children.
it before in the child?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it is common.
Okay.
Yeah. And what happens is, if you don't get it again and again, once you're better, like you said, he hasn't had any.
Right.
With this temperature and infection settling, then it would improve. But to be aware, if it happens again and again, then yes, you might need to look into it. But at this point of time, what you've told me that he's better, his temperature is better, just that means Josh is doing well and recovering well.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right, so you don't think this will happen again?
If his temperature goes up, it might happen again.
Right.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean it's epilepsy. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
It's
right,
with
okay.
infection.
Oh, right, so that's different. Something
Yeah.
different. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what on earth do I do if it happens again? Because
Right.
you've no idea how frightened I was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awful.
I can imagine you've not seen anyone, especially with
When the
a
child.
2-year-old. Yeah. Right. Okay. Most important, that his temperature. Do you check temperature at home?
Yeah, I've got one of those things you put in their ears.
Yeah. So how high was the temperature when you checked for him when he actually had it?
It was 39 point something.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because they say give Calpol if it's over 37?
Yeah, 37.5 we say,
Right, okay.
yeah. But if it's higher than that, especially if above goes like 39, that's like really high temperature.
Right.
That puts the child at risk of having fits.
Okay, right.
Yeah?
Right, okay.
Okay. So the things to do is to make sure the temperature doesn't go that high.
Right.
The best thing is to give him the tablets, the paracetamol and the ibuprofen, on which he was discharged, round the clock, and make sure the temperature. And in the time period when his infection gets cleared off his body, he'll get rid of the temperature as well, and then he'll be back
And
to
then that'll be, right.
Yeah. Is that okay?
So if he does have a fit again, if the temperature goes up very high,
Yeah.
what do I do then?
Things to do is you have to first to make sure temperature doesn't go.
Right.
Besides giving tablets, the other thing you can do to make sure the temperature comes down is tablet sponging.
Right.
Yeah. Also,
What with cold water?
yeah, cold water. Also, not dressing up with too many clothes.
Right.
Just leaving him in the nappy.
Right.
Keep him open in the air.
Right.
If it happens again, make sure he's seen again in the hospital.
Oh gosh, yes, I think
Yeah,
I was.
that's the only thing.
999
Because that's
again.
the thing they do.
So I just ring 999 again. Do
Yeah, if it happens,
it. Right.
not in case of the temperature, try to cool it down.
Right.
But if you think the temperature is not coming down, you've given your medication, then make sure, give us a ring, bring him in, and we'll check him out if there's
Right.
anything else.
Right, okay.
Is that anything else?
So it's not epilepsy. Right, I think that's been at the back of my mind. And the other thing is, one of my friends at the con, she was having a fit, and it turned out it was a brain tumour. It's nothing like that, is it?
Yeah. People with brain tumour can present with fits, but then they should have other symptoms as well.
Right.
Like symptoms like having problem with their vision, having lost power with
Right.
their legs,
Gosh,
or
it's
feeling funny.
so helpful.
And if you don't have any of those, that's unlikely to be.
Right.
Like Josh is so well, what you've told me.
Right,
So,
okay. Right, so he doesn't need a scan. That's what I've been worried about, and he doesn't need more tests.
No. At this point of time, no. But if it happens again, come back to us and we'll.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Because Josh was discharged recently, if you think he's not getting better, you can bring him and you can have a look at him, because he's not here. It'll be good to see Josh as well.
Right, but he is getting better. He's not 100%.
Yeah. If you think he needs to be seen, just give us a ring and we can
Right.
arrange him.
Right, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
What we can do is, whatever I've explained about febrile convulsions, I can give you it in written.
Oh, right, yeah,
leaflets,
that's
so that you can
fine.
have a
Sure,
bit more
Mum.
read about it.
Yeah,
If you have
that's
any
fine.
more questions, then
Yeah.
come back and
Yeah.
talk to us.
Yeah, alright, that's fine.
Is that all right?
Yeah, lovely, thank you.
Sorry.